Good morning, you guys. It's freaking freezing, but we're gonna go for a morning run. I was gonna go to the gym, but we're gonna go later and get our lift in, and then I'm gonna bring you guys along for my full day of eating, of what I eat as a busy dad, trying to stay in shape, hybrid training. So let's get after this run. Run complete, 2-mile run this morning. It is freezing. I can't feel my hands, but it felt good to get out here. I haven't run outside for a little bit, just because it's been freezing outside. So I'm a baby, so I'll just run on the treadmill. But it felt good to get out here, get the air in my lungs, and it's just different. It's different when you run outside versus the treadmill. And I think everyone who, knows what it feels like to run outside versus on a treadmill knows that it's just different. It's a little bit more difficult to run outside, but there's a greater sense of accomplishment when you finish a run versus when you finish running on a treadmill. But anyways, I'm gonna get in there, get ready. Got to get the kids going, and then I'll catch you guys at breakfast. All right, guys, we're back from getting the kids off to school, and the samples for Primal Charge V2 showed up yesterday. I did record a little bit of that I was going to do some sampling, but then realized it was kind of late in the day after work, so I didn't really want to sip on a bunch of pre-workouts. So we're doing the sampling now before we go to the gym, which just makes more sense. So just to remind you guys, Primal Charge V2, we got blue raspberry lemonade, sour rainbow candy, and fruit punch. So I'm gonna mix all these just in one cup and then dump them in the other ones. So I'm gonna start with fruit punch, just because I know it's not gonna be my favorite, and I'm gonna save the one I think is gonna be the best for last. So let's see how this tastes. kind of a pinkish color. This is the fruit punch. if it actually tastes like it. Kind of waiting for that bitter aftertaste to see if it's there. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, not bad. I thought it was going to be my least favorite, but that one's pretty good. All right, I'm gonna rinse this out, get some more water. Okay, got some more water. Now I'm gonna go with Sour Rainbow Candy. This was pretty good the first time, but it was pretty bitter for the aftertaste. So let's see if my manufacturer fixed this. Okay, so we're doing the Sour Rainbow Candy. I can't be the only one to try this, so I'm gonna have my wife try some of it too. So that one looks a lot better than the fruit punch. A lot more pink. It looks more appetizing than
That's fruit punch?
that. Yeah.
That doesn't look like a fruit punch.
No, it looks orange.
Can I try it?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, actually.
And honestly, it's not very sour.
You did put a lot of water, though.
It says to mix with 12 to 16. I only did 10. Let's see what the wife thinks.
It's less like someone just like a little...
Sprinkled sour.
Yeah.
It's like they took a Sour Patch Kid and just like scraped some of the sugar off and put it in there. That's it. Yeah. Okay. So this, I saved Blue Raspberry Lemonade for last because I think that that's going to be the best one. And that's most likely going to be the flavor that we come out with.
Can I mix my stuff just over here?
Rinse this cup out real fast. Can you rinse that? Recruit my help in here. So, Sour Rainbow Candy, can't really see it now, but pink. Fruit punch is orange, which is weird, but whatever. Okay. So Blue Raspberry Lemonade, this one's been my favorite on each of the sample rounds that we've done, but all of them were just had a really bad bitter aftertaste. So just really trying to dial this in for you guys, because if it doesn't taste good, no one wants to drink it, right? I mean, we don't need to like sip on our pre-workout all day, but if it's gross, no matter how effective it is or the quality of the ingredients, if it doesn't taste good, no one wants to drink it. So you can see that's kind of like a greenish blue, which makes sense because it's Blue Raspberry Lemonade. So that yellow kind of gives it that green. So let's see what it tastes like. That's pretty good. Let's get our second opinion.
Ooh, that's my vote.
Yep. So this one, like I said, this one's been my favorite and was probably the flavor we were gonna go with from the beginning, but my manufacturer gives us 3 flavor profiles to try. So I thought, well, let's just do all 3, and maybe I'd be surprised that one of these other 2 would taste better than this, but they're not. But I will say, so this is the 3rd round of flavor sampling that we've done, just because they couldn't quite get it right. Just didn't taste good at all. So this is why I just had them do all 3 flavors, just in case one of them came back way better than the other. But Blue Raspberry Lemonade is probably going to be Primal Charge V2 flavor. I mean, obviously we'll come out with more flavors as we go, but this is probably what you guys are gonna be seeing in V2. So let's grab our pre-workout snack, because we did our run this morning, and I'll show you what that is. All right, you guys, so here's my pre-workout snack. I am going to just drink the blue raspberry lemonade sample. I did add some of our creatine in there. Always stack that with my pre before I go. But my pre-workout snack every morning, which you guys have probably seen in the other videos, is 1 piece of white bread, Grandma Sycamore's, is natural peanut butter and raw honey. And I calculated the macros on this. It's about 250 calories, about 7.5. I mean, just depends on how much peanut butter you really put on it. About 7.5 grams of protein, and then about 26 grams of carbs. This is just a light, simple snack. It gets you some of the carbs that you need, sugar from the honey, and a good amount of calories before you go to the gym. I don't like eating a huge meal before I go. I like to keep it pretty light and simple, because it gets me that energy and enough calories and carbs that I'm looking for before I hit the gym. And that way it leaves room for when I come home and I have my breakfast, which is more gonna be a higher protein with my protein shake meal. So this is what I do, guys. So I'm gonna down my pre here, have my snack, and then I'll see you guys at the gym. All right, what's up, you guys? We're here at the gym. We're doing chest and tris today. I always start with flies just because I feel like it warms up my shoulders pretty good for the other chest movements that I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna hit 3 sets. I'm gonna go for 10 each set. One thing that I always strive for, just as I'm getting older, is being super intentional with every set. So just really getting that mind-muscle connection is what I strive for, just so that I feel like I'm getting the most out of each exercise when I'm done, because I was very intentional with each rep and each set. So let's get into it. So I'm always trying to squeeze at the top of the rep and then do a slow eccentric movement down. I just feel like that's where you're getting a lot of your mind-muscle connection instead of just letting the weight fly back, because it's either too heavy or you're moving too fast. All right, moved on to incline chest press on the Smith machine. I really like the Smith machine over dumbbells, just because I feel like you can control the range of motion on it a lot easier. So that's why I prefer it more than dumbbells. I'll do dumbbells, but I just prefer the Smith machine just because I can control it a lot easier. So let's get into these.
I walked up and down her block before the birds began to talk. I could not miss you any more than I do. I'm looking for you, I'm looking for you, I'm looking for you, I'm looking.
So with these, sometimes I'll do a little bit more of a shoulder width apart narrow grip. Just feel like it hits the upper chest a little bit better, because you can get a little bit more of a squeeze since your arms are closer together when you come down. And then when you come up, it's almost like you're squeezing your chest together like you could if you were doing dumbbells, without obviously clanging them together. So on this next set, that's what I'll do, a little bit more narrow, which is what I typically will do on my last set, just to get a nice squeeze. So instead of upping the weight necessarily or like on the last set, I'll just change my grip, make it a little bit more difficult on myself without putting more strain on my joints. so we moved on to flat dumbbell bench. I like mixing it up between barbell and dumbbell. I love barbell, but I feel like with dumbbell, same with the Smith machine, I just feel like I can get a little bit better squeeze on my chest because I can control my grip on how I position the dumbbells versus barbell. You're locked into this position. So with dumbbells, I just like them a little bit better because you'll see in my set, I can kind of turn my hands a little bit to create a little bit more depth than versus just where the bar would hit your chest, and just positioning your shoulders. You can kind of tuck them in a little bit more. So when you come up, you're getting a better contraction and squeeze at the top of the set. So let's get into these. All right, didn't go terribly heavy, did the 80s for 10. So 2 more sets, 10 reps each, and I'll progressively go up on these. So let's jump into the next set. All right guys, finished up chest, moved on to triceps. I do single arm tricep pull down. I just feel like it works really well. It gets a good isolation of the tricep. You can really position your body and your arm where you want to versus just with your standard rope. So this is what I do. So let's hop into this. All right guys, like I said at the beginning of the video, being extremely intentional with each rep, slow and controlled, you're gonna get a better mind-muscle connection, you're gonna get a better pump, which can result in more strength as well because you're controlling the weight, not just moving the weight to move it. All right, let's jump into this last set. Okay, moved on to second tricep workout, which is skull crushers with dumbbells. I just prefer the dumbbells over the easy curl bar or straight bar because I go up and behind my head. So that's what I prefer. I feel like it gets a better pull. You'll see during my set that I go further behind my head and then up, and that way I just feel like I can control it better than with an easy curl bar that I'm probably gonna smack into my freaking forehead anyways. So let's get into these. All right, as you guys saw in that movement, that I go pretty far behind my head just because I feel like it's getting a deeper stretch when I push my shoulder further back and keep it in more of a stretched position. So that's why I use the dumbbells, as you can see as well, that I elevate the bench a little bit because I feel like it pushes my body up and forward, which creates even more of a stretch when I push my arms back. So that's why I do it that way. Anyways, let's hop into the next set. All right, moved on to our final tricep movement, triceps dips. I do alternate between the seated tricep dip machine, just because you can load it up past your body weight pretty easily without having to put a belt and plates on with dips. If you're looking for, obviously, increasing the weight each time. But I feel like body weight dips are really good because you hit a little bit more of your lower chest in this movement because you're going down to depth versus if you're just sitting on the seated tricep dip machine. Really good to isolate the triceps, not much chest. I mean, you can if you position yourself right. But anyways, I like alternating between the two. I like body weight dips. I'll obviously do more than 10, usually do 12 to 15 each set, just because it's body weight and I don't add any weight with the belt and plates. And then we'll finish up with core. I do leg lifts, so let's get into this. Just like with every exercise that we've done today, slow and controlled, intentional with each rep and set, really focusing on the eccentric part of the movement. That's where we're building our strength and control of the movement that will translate into more strength with the other lifts as you really focus on controlling the weight and not just moving it to move it. Moving on to the final exercise, which is leg lifts for the core. There are tons of core exercises you can do. I prefer leg lifts because I really feel like it focuses and strengthens the lower abdomen, which is where I'm the weakest in my core. So these are my go-to, my preference. I always finish chest and tri day with these. So let's get into it. So with this exercise, it's easy just to fling your legs up and down, right? But once again, we're just focusing on controlling the movement and controlling our legs up and down, because that's where you're gonna get a lot of that control and strength, is lowering your legs down slowly. That's the harder part of the movement, in my opinion, versus if you're just swinging your legs back and forth using the momentum instead of slowing it down and controlling it. Okay, so that finishes up the workout for today. Chest and tries with a little finisher of core with leg lifts. So let's head home and have the official meal 1 for the day. And I'll show you guys what that is. All right, you guys, back from the gym, having meal 1, which is 2 whole eggs, 1 piece of white bread toast. Comes out to be about 14 grams of protein, 16 grams of carbs. And then I'll have a protein shake, which is 1 scoop of Ascent vanilla protein with half a banana, and I'll do 8 ounces of milk. That's about 290 calories and about roughly 33 grams of protein. So between the two, I'm about 47 grams of protein just in meal 1. So this is how I start my day after doing cardio, running, and lifting. All right, guys, so here's meal 1. 2 whole eggs, 1 piece of white bread toast. I put a little butter and a little ketchup on here as well, plus the protein shake. So between both of these, I'm about 540 calories. So pretty good start to the day. So this is meal 1. This is what I have every morning. Not always together. Usually have a shake on the way out the door, taking the kids to school, but then I'll have breakfast when I get home. So within usually an hour of each other. So I still count it as 1 meal together. So anyways, that's meal 1. I'm gonna down this and then I'm gonna go work for a little bit and then I'll catch you guys at lunch. All right, guys, we're back for meal 2. Lunch, worked for a little bit. I usually have the same thing every lunch. Just keeps it easy to track the macros on. But I do a pound of beef, ground beef, and what I usually do is 90-10. I know it's a little bit fattier, but I feel like it doesn't get as dry, especially because I spread it out throughout the week. So warming it up and reheating it, having it a little bit fattier, I'm okay with those calories because the meat stays juicier having to reheat it. But I'll usually go between Kinder's, the blend, which is just a combo of salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic salt, or I do taco seasoning. I don't go too crazy on the seasoning, but I don't want the meat to be bland or unseasoned. So I usually mix between these two each time that I cook more meat. This time I'm gonna use the taco seasoning just because last time I did the blend. So I just like to mix it up. And like I said, I don't go too heavy on the seasoning, but I definitely want some flavor on it. All right, guys, so here's meal 2, lunch. It's a cup of white rice and a cup and a half of the 90-10 ground beef. I also put a little bit of Yoshida's teriyaki sauce on it with Bachan hot and spicy Japanese sauce. And like I said, I'm loosely tracking condiments because I'm not putting a ton on there, just a little bit for flavor so it's not so bland because I'm not prepping for anything. So this is what I typically will have for lunch. Sometimes it'll fluctuate. I'll replace the meat with chicken, or I mean the ground beef with chicken. But this meal right here is about 750 calories, 70 grams of protein, and 45 grams of carbs. So between meal 1 and meal 2, I'm sitting at about 117 grams of protein, and I'm weighing in at about 163, 64 body weight. So I'm pretty close to my 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight just between meal 1 and meal 2. So meal 3, dinner between 2 snacks as well. All I have to do is fit in another 45 grams of protein to hit that daily threshold that I'm looking for. So if you focus on more of the protein in your meals, you guys can hit that threshold that we shall be hitting to be able to maintain the muscle mass that we currently have. Obviously you could increase that if you're looking to bulk up, but I'm just trying to stay pretty much exactly where I'm at. But anyways, I will catch you guys after this meal. I usually take a walk afterwards just to help digest my meal and burn a couple extra calories as well. So see you guys in just a little bit. All right, you guys, finished up lunch. Now I'm going for my post-lunch walk. I'm not going for anything crazy, trying to burn a bunch of calories to open up more calories for my next meal. I just like it because it helps digest my meal that I just had and also just burns some extra calories for me. So I usually do like a 15-minute walk. I have a little route in my neighborhood that I take. Usually is 100 calories burned. If I'm really inefficient at burning calories, it's about 150 calories, and just based on the pace that I'm walking. But usually I'm not trying to walk really fast. It's just kind of a leisurely walk. Like I said, just help digest some food. Walk complete, and it was about exactly what I thought. Maybe I had a little bit faster pace today. It was, I don't know if you guys can see that, 14 minutes, 150 calories. So I guess I'm either really inefficient today or I was walking a little bit faster, which maybe that was the case. But anyways, I will see you guys at dinner. All right, guys, we're back. It's dinner time, and my lovely wife made stir fry, and I put a full chicken breast in mine just so it'd be a little bit easier to calculate out. But this is dinner right here. This calculates out to 720 calories, 69 grams of protein, and 86 grams of carbs. A little bit higher in calories because of the noodles and obviously in carbs as well. I can afford it because I'm sitting at probably about 1,975 calories for the day. And I try to be around 2,500 for just maintaining, which is what I'm currently doing right now. I'm not really trying to put on any excess weight or gain a ton of muscle mass, and I'm definitely not trying to lose any either. I like where I'm sitting right now with the cardio that I'm doing and the lifting that I'm currently doing with the rep range and sets that I'm doing. So that's where I'm at right now. But we'll have one more snack before bed, which will be yogurt and granola, and I'll show you that when you know the kids go to bed and it's a little bit later and we're winding down for the night. But this will be my last full meal for the night. My wife definitely does all the cooking here because that's why all the food's really good. What's up, you guys? Just wanted to show you guys my last little snack meal of the night. Usually I'll have it earlier than this, but you know, being a dad with kids, sometimes your schedule doesn't work out the way you want it to. So this is a little bit later than I usually will have my snack. But anyways, it's about 9:20. I was just finishing up editing some content. Kids are all asleep, so me and my videographer, we did a shoot a couple weeks ago, so I was just working on editing some of that footage and content that you guys, I'm sure, will see in another video. But anyways, let's go get my snack. I'll show you guys what I have. So this is the granola I use because my wife uses it, but it's purely Elizabeth organic sweet and salty granola. It's 130 calories for a third cup and 3 grams of protein. And I'll throw that in this Chobani protein yogurt. I like the vanilla. So this is 20 grams of protein, 0 added sugar. So that's what I like at the end of the night. This will put me at about 2,245 calories for the day and 209 grams of protein. So I'm a little under my 2,500 calories that I usually will try to hit in a day, but I'm well over my protein. So I'd much rather be lower in the calories, higher in protein for obvious reasons, right? Conserving and preserving muscle mass and maintaining where I'm currently at, which is what my goal is. I'm not trying to bulk, I'm not trying to get heavier. I'm just trying to maintain where I am right now. And then leaving some of those calories on the table just leaves it open that, you know, for different days, things are different, right? Go out to eat, dinner's a little bit higher in calories because as a dad with kids and everything, dinner's always different. I can control breakfast and lunch by having pretty much the same thing every time, but dinner's always a little bit different. With kids, you know, what we cook isn't always going to be something that's going to fit into my macros or fit into, you know, where I'm trying to be with my calories and protein and carbs. So that's always going to fluctuate, where if we have something a little bit, you know, more on the heavy carb side, less protein, you know, more pasta, more, you know, pizza, whatever the kids want, then, you know, I'm gonna make something else to try to fit in what I want with protein and calories. And so that's where dinner's always gonna fluctuate a little bit, but tonight actually worked out really well because of what we had. I didn't really have to deviate too much in that regard of making another meal to fit in more protein, or, you know, keep my calories lower. So this is what I typically will have in regards to breakfast, lunch, and snack at night. Anyways, so I'm gonna mix this up, you guys. Have this. So this is the 1/3 cup of the granola that I added into the yogurt. That's good. I will see you guys in the next one, but thanks for coming along, seeing what I eat and do in a normal day to hybrid train as a busy dad of 3. And anyways, thanks you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one.